Stay close, because Turkish Spotlight Secrets has eyes on the moment the internet picked its new style rulers, and it happened the second Erkan Merrick and Hazal Sabasai stepped into the light. One appearance, a flurry of flashes, and suddenly their names were everywhere. Instagram timelines, TikTok edits, and Twitter threads transformed into a runway devoted entirely to them. It wasn't just a red carpet walk or a quick photo call. It was a masterclass in presence, a reminder of why some couples don't just show up, they set the tone for everyone else. From the first frame, their look told a story without a single word. Hazal arrived with that unmistakable radiance that comes with expecting, carrying a glow that soft lighting could never fake. Her dress skimmed just right, modern and minimal, with a whisper of structure that turned the silhouette into poetry. The hue softened the edges of the night and brought warmth to every angle. She paired it with accessories that didn't demand attention but earned it, a sleek clutch, delicate jewelry that caught the light like a secret, and heels that were as graceful as they were empowering. Everything seemed intentional yet effortless, the kind of styling that makes fashion insiders nod while fans simply say, "She's stunning." Right beside her, Erkan matched her energy with a quiet confidence that spoke volumes. He chose clean lines and a fit that moved with him, the kind of tailoring that lets a man be himself instead of drowning in a costume. The fabric carried a dark sheen, the open collar let him breathe, and his watch and shoes did the talk for him, subtle, refined, and undeniably sharp. Their colors echoed one another without mirroring. It was harmony without being twin-like, a call and response in wardrobe form that made every photo feel intentional. Their shared gaze, their angle toward the camera, the little pause before a smile, every detail was in sync. It took minutes for the images to spread. Comments multiplied like confetti. The edits arrived almost immediately, soft filters, vintage overlays, slow-motion slides to the beat of trending tracks. Fans flocked to share the moment not because it was staged, but because it felt alive. Thread by thread, post by post, people praised the way Hazal carried her pregnancy with modern grace, and the way Erkan balanced her softness with cool stability. It wasn't just about what they wore. It was about the way they wore it together. Fashion pages and celebrity trackers jumped in fast, spotlighting the quiet precision of their choices. Bloggers highlighted the fitted drape of her dress and the polish of his tailoring. Stylists broke down their coordination, pointing out the shared textures and the intentional spacing of tones. Photographers shared behind-the-scenes angles, those half-laugh moments, the whisper near her shoulder, the brief adjustment of the jacket where Erkan's hand rested at the small of Hazal's back. That single gesture showed up in dozens of frames, and every time it appeared, comments exploded with the same sentiment: "This is what tenderness looks like." Their chemistry didn't need dialogue. The way they interacted did the talking. When she tilted her head to hear him better, he leaned in without stealing the moment. When he stepped aside to let her take the center, she reached for him without even looking, as if the instinct to include him was simply part of how she moves. A shared smile became a trending gif. A glance caught mid-stride turned into the inspiration for fan art. The posts didn't feel like they were made for clicks. They felt like accidental intimacy that somehow made it onto the feed. Fans who have watched their journey felt the backstory in every frame. There's a particular nostalgia around Erkan and Hazal, their shared history, the way their screen pairing once stirred conversation, the whispers that turned to headlines and then settled into something calmer, steadier, more assured. Seeing them now gave fans the satisfying arc of a story that began long ago and still feels new. For those just discovering them, this was an immediate lesson in what a balanced duo looks like when the cameras are on but the body language is still real. What made this appearance different from most celebrity sightings is how unforced it seemed. Instead of heavy glam and distant stares, they chose presence over performance. Their smiles didn't feel rehearsed. Their movements weren't overly choreographed. Even the way they stood seemed to welcome the moment rather than control it. And yet, despite that ease, every angle came out breathtaking, as if their own comfort created the elegance. It's a rare balance, polished but not plastic, styled but still sincere. Social media did what it always does with a perfect moment, it magnified it. But this time, the attention had a soft tone. Rather than tearing apart details or comparing them to others, most comments uplifted them. Couples wrote that they wanted to dress together the way Erkan and Hazal did. Coordinated, complementary, not matching but aligned. Expecting mothers praised Hazal's choices, saying she reminded them that pregnancy can be powerful, modern, and glamorous without losing its intimacy. Men noted Erkan's understatement, the class and the restraint, the way his presence amplified hers without overshadowing it. Even the quick videos told a story. There was one where they reached the center of the carpet and paused only for a second before sharing a tiny laugh. The sound was barely there, but the sync was unmistakable. Hazal's eyes lowered, Erkan's smile widened, and for a heartbeat they forgot the cameras and simply existed. That moment alone racked up hundreds of thousands of loops, with captions calling it the most honest thing the internet had seen all week. Before long, trend forecasters chimed in. Threads predicted that their look, clean lines, soft structure, cohesive color theory, would define the season for couples dressing together. Magazines suggested that red carpet style was shifting back to kindness and silhouette, where clothes serve the people wearing them rather than the other way around. And at the center of that conversation were these two, radiating warmth and discipline in equal measure. Of course, it wasn't just the alignment of fabric and fit that everyone fell for. It was the little protections, the subtle respect, the way Erkan's attention made space for Hazal's glow. When she turned slightly to adjust her blazer, his hand found hers with ease, a checkpoint promise that said, "I'm here." When the lenses got too close, he subtly widened his stance, not to block but to buffer. Fans noticed and loved that, replaying those seconds with captions like, "This is what partnership looks like." As the night rolled on, the coverage grew. Paparazzi shots turned soft at the edges because the couple gave them nothing harsh to hold on to. People shared side-by-side comparisons of their previous appearances, delighting in how each one felt like a chapter that led to this perfect entry. The narrative wasn't dramatic, and it didn't need to be. It was the relief of seeing two people thrive in the same frame without competing for it. Then came the edits. Whole fan accounts devoted to compiling their smiles, stitches of them walking in sync, slow zooms on joined hands, even slideshows of shoes alone because apparently their footwear deserved its own praise. There were heartwarming stories under the posts. One person wrote about watching the clip with their partner and deciding to dress up together for the first time in months. Another said they felt seen by the way Hazal's elegance did not erase her softness. The impact went beyond the images. It landed as a feeling people carried through their own day. Journalists reached for bigger words, calling it a turning point, a reminder, a reset. But the truth felt simpler. This was a beautiful appearance because it showed that love and style can exist in the same breath without either one sounding louder. Hazal's pregnancy wasn't treated as a spectacle, it was embraced as part of her presence, folded into her poise. Erkan didn't pose as her accessory or her shadow. He stood as her partner, elevating the mood with his calm and intention. The discussion grew so quickly that even the behind-the-scenes crew had their say. Hairstylists shared that simplicity was the rule of the day, nothing too rigid, just polished texture and movement. Makeup artists praised the balance of glow and definition. A stylist friend of a friend posted a cryptic caption about how the most powerful look is often the one that refuses to scream. And everyone seemed to agree. The quietness of the choices was what made the effect so loud. Meanwhile, followers kept refreshing for more angles, more clips, more proof that the feeling they caught in those first images wasn't a trick of the lens. And with each new post that surfaced, the sentiment held steady. Whether they were stepping into the car, greeting a friend at the entrance, or simply pausing at the edge of the carpet to catch their breath, they carried the same tone, elegant, warm, and disarmingly real. No one was surprised when the couple began to trend across platforms in multiple countries. Fan apps lit up with notifications, and for a while, the feeds felt united by a rare positivity. Even those who don't usually follow celebrity style found themselves replaying the clips. There was a sense that what they were seeing wasn't just fashion, it was a shared moment of grace. By morning, think pieces popped up arguing that Erkan and Hazal had reset the bar for how to arrive as a team. It wasn't that they reinvented clothing, they reintroduced intention. The care in their choices reflected the care in their relationship, and that resonance meant everything. It made people want to step into their own lives with more gentleness, more purpose, more attention to the person standing next to them. The best part is that the momentum hasn't slowed. Every new image, each hand touch, each glance over a shoulder, each tiny check-in, adds a little more spark to the conversation. It feels like a running series now, the kind audiences love to follow because it brings comfort alongside the thrill. Whether you've been with them from the beginning or you're just discovering why the buzz refuses to fade, the conclusion is the same: together, they're irresistible. We see plenty of appearances every week, but few have this kind of staying power. Maybe it's because there's no hard sell. Maybe it's because Erkan and Hazal trust the moment to be enough. Either way, this is what happens when love feels present and style feels personal. The world stops to look, and then it keeps looking. And so the edit makers keep editing, the commentators keep commenting, the fashion blogs keep dissecting sleeves and seams and lapels, and the fans keep returning for the feeling. Not everyone can be a trendsetter, but some people are trend reminders. They remind you of what matters under the surface. How compassion translates to posture, how affection turns into timing, how respect is visible in even the smallest gesture. The couple standard everyone talks about is suddenly not just about candlelit dinners or elaborate trips. It's about showing up together with coherence, allowing one another to shine without dimming your own light. It's about a look that is less about spectacle and more about storytelling, the kind you can feel even through a screen. Erkan and Hazal didn't need to announce anything. They didn't need a script. They walked in, breathed, and let the cameras do the rest. The buzz that followed wasn't an accident, it was the echo of something honest. We saw them, really saw them, and what we saw was love wrapped in elegance, elegance wrapped in ease, and ease wrapped in the certainty that they know who they are together. Will they define the year's couple style? Many are already saying yes. Predictions are landing fast. That more pairs will take cues from their palette, their fits, their commitment to making coordination look human instead of manufactured. But beyond that, there's the deeper wish that more public moments will feel like this one did, grounded, kind, and beautifully composed. As fans wait for the next outing, the comments remain full of warmth. People are saving images for inspiration boards. They're sending clips to their friends with notes like, "This is the energy." They're imagining their own events with the same gentle balance. And somewhere in those quiet exchanges, a whole new set of style stories begins to form. For now, the timeline belongs to the duo who made it look easy and meaningful all at once. When the next set of photos arrives, and it will, the excitement will pick up right where it left off. The edits will start, the slow-motion walks will loop, the favorite frames will be circled and shared again and again. And through it all, the center will remain the same, two people bringing out the best in one another while the world watches with a smile. If you're new here, welcome to the moment. If you've been watching, you already understand. Either way, remember this: Erkan Merrick and Hazal Sabesai didn't just step into a spotlight, they adjusted it so gently that everyone else could see a little clearer too. That's why this appearance wasn't just another blip on the feed. It was a marker in time. Stick with Turkish Spotlight Secrets, because we're following every beat as it happens, the next frame, the next glance, the next scene that proves you don't need fireworks when you already have a flame. We'll bring you every viral ripple, every gorgeous shot, and every tender moment that keeps this story glowing long after the cameras go quiet. Their stylish journey is still unfolding, and we're right here for the chapter that comes next.